Okay, I got a United Grapple here for my John Deere. I just got done rebuilding one of the cylinder, put a pack kit in it. It blowed out on me. I was told you can't get parts for it, but I was able to locate and source the parts and got this cylinder put back together. And no videos on the internet, so I decided to make a short little video of this cylinder, taking it apart and fixing it. So first thing we're going to do is break this pack nut. They make a spanner wrench that's adjustable to fit in to the points there on the pack nut. If you don't have that wrench, you can use an air hammer or a large set of pliers, possibly. And you'll need to take your hydraulic lines loose. And breaking this loose will be easier to do it on the machine than on the workbench, if possible. So we're going to gather some tools and get started. Okay, I apologize, but I don't have a tripod right now and holding the phone with my hand, but we're going to try to get this pack nut off here. I've got a very large set of Knipex pliers. Looks like they go up to 4.5 inches. We're going to see if that'll get the job done. Oh yeah, we got her broke loose there. When you grab the pack nut, be sure that all your teeth is on the pack nut and not on the cylinder itself, or that'll definitely give you some fits trying to get it loose. Or the gland. Still a little too tight at the end. Got her loose there. Now the next thing to do, break loose the hydraulic lines, and then we'll pull our pins. If you're using a crescent wrench, you want to be sure that you got it all the way tight. This isn't the correct tool for the job, but as long as you don't round it off. If it's real tight and tries to give you fits, you may want to step over to a wrench or a pipe wrench, a flare nut wrench, to get that off. See, I've about got them broke loose. I'm gonna slide my little sawdust pan there underneath, catch any fluid. It will shoot out under pressure when you move the cylinder around. I'm gonna go ahead and just dip that hose down towards the pile. Push in on the piston here to see if there's any fluid in there. This one comes out at a 90-degree angle, so I'm going to put a little towel over it so if it squirts, it won't squirt clear across the shop. One second, get this pin loose. This is why I quit running the clip pins in here, because I work in a lot of brush and they end up getting destroyed and fall out, and then my pins try to fall out. So what I've gone to now is just copper wire tight across the groove of the pin there. That's been working real well for me. I had to put the camera down there, couldn't get that one-handed, but now I got that mangled pin out of the way. We are going to get a piece of carpet over here, just to rest on that bar. Later on, we'll probably turn the piston around to the top, and we definitely don't want to mar the chrome on the shaft there. All right, now back to the towel over the port. Whoa! Didn't have the other hand down there available to keep it on, but you see what I was trying to prevent. All right, with that being done, you got your pack nut loose. You can go ahead and pull this all the way out. Once again, be careful with the chrome. Don't nick it, ding it, bang it, scratch it. Sometimes the piston will be stuck in the end, so just push it back in, pop it out. This will be the piston, and then your pack nut down here, and we're going to replace all the seals and the sweeper here once I get this off. All right, I got the piston turned around, pinned up in the machine. We're going to break these nuts loose. Most will have just a single nut. This one's got 2 thin nuts in a jam nut configuration. So you're going to want to be sure to only get on this nut and break it loose first. All right, see the camera took a tumble there, but we got her broke loose. Like I said, I apologize trying to do all this one-handed. So the second nut should be easier. Come right off. Oh, there she goes. All right, with the 2 nuts off there, you can pull the piston off. We're gonna take note that you've got a thin side here and a thicker side here. And so the thin side is gonna go towards the pack nut there. We're gonna spin her around and inspect her for wear. She looks real clean. This is actually your friction material here. Keeps it in the cylinder, keeps it from scarring the cylinder. So we're gonna get this cleaned up, but we're gonna completely reuse this part. All right, I got the cylinder sitting upside down on towel draining. We'll check for its cleanliness and any wear on the inside of it. I didn't notice anything before I set it down. We do have this pullback. It's a little dirty. It's been getting a little water intrusion. You can tell the oil was just a little milky around that upper O-ring, and then as well on this side. Of course, this is your sweep seal. You can tell it's busted up there. But we're gonna go ahead and pull that out. You got one O-ring down here at the end. That would be just to help stop fluid from bypassing that piston and sliding underneath it. We'll get that replaced here in a little bit. That's why I put that carpet there. It can fall down. We don't have to worry about damaging that shaft. Okay. We'll get this thing picked apart here, and then get that up there a little bit so y'all can watch. So this one it consists of this sweep seal right here, you got your sweep seal. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of pry it out. It's very brittle and bad shape there. Not gonna be many pieces left of it. I would almost guarantee that was the failure reason for the other cylinder, as the sweep had failed on it, and the environment that I stick that head in, have no doubt that trash got by where that sweep is supposed to be and got in and damaged the main seal right here. And this one actually looks pretty worn on this one. The other one, of course, was blowed out, but this one does look pretty worn. So I'm going to say that wear probably down with it. I do use this quite a bit. It's very handy for trimming limbs, cutting brush, and just picking everything up in one go and getting it out to the trash or the burn pile for the limbs. But yeah, as you can see, there's a little bit of milk here where water's been getting by on that seal. So my plans are to get this fixed up, get some fluid run through it. It's time for me to service my tractor, a little past 500 hours. So I'll go ahead and do an oil change and go ahead and change the hydraulic fluid and the hydraulic filter as well. This one is actually different. Has different innards than the one I just did on the other side. It had an O-ring in this channel here. This one appears to have a piece of friction material like you find on the piston, and then a sleeve like you find there on the piston for wear. So I don't know, maybe they were out of that day and they built that one and just put an O-ring in there. But the two wear items there don't need replaced, but we're gonna get this seal in and this in. I'm gonna get this cleaned up and show you how to put it back. Okay, I got her all cleaned up. So this is where the sweep seal goes here. If you've got any rust, you see a little bit of surface rust, possibly right there. If you got any rust past this level, your seals probably won't seat well. So you need to see if it's just light rust, and you can buff it off with some emery cloth or something. But if it's heavy rust, you might look at trying to get a pack nut if you can find one, or most people, if they've already got the seals, will probably just put it in and wing it, pray for the best. But I did forget that we've got these O-rings here on the outside. You got one here down low, and then one here at the top. Here's our kit we picked up. A little O-ring here is going to be the one that goes on the shaft itself under the piston. This O-ring was the one that I said was on the third level there inside. That this one has a wear item on it that's real similar to this. It's brown just like on this piston, and then it's got a black piece below. So like I said, I don't know if they changed designs. They both came on the unit together, but they're a little different on the inside. Nonetheless, we're gonna get it put back the way it came. So I've got a sweep seal. See, this will be the sweep seal. It's got a higher flange on it that flange will go to the outside, so it sweeps and keeps the dirt clean. And then this seal will be your pressure seal. Its flange is on the inside here, and the flange up is going to push towards the pressure. So you don't want it coming this way because it can actually bow by that flange. You want the pressure coming at it this way, so it just hits that edge of the flange. And then we've got our 2 O-rings. They go on the outside. We'll go ahead and just throw them on. The large one there goes up top, and ease this one on. Got it rolled into place, both O-rings there in place. So we're going to start with the inner seal. And like I said, the flange itself goes towards the pressure. So this is going to be the pressure side, or the side that goes down. We've got a special tool here that'll help us fold it up and get it installed. These are relatively inexpensive for a set. You can get some on eBay for maybe Amazon for less than $20. Comes in 3 different sizes for different size O-rings and seals. And then once you have it installed like that, you can just twist it. You want to hold it straight. I'll hold it straight and then twist it, and it folds it in on itself. Allows you to stick it down in the hole and then release it back. Try this one more time here. All right. And then with it folded like that, you can get it down in and try to get my hands out of the way here. You can see I've got the main edge there already started. I'm going to try to slow this, but it fell out, so I'm going to have to pick this thing back out right quick. All right. Okay, here we go again. All right, as you can see, I got it in a pretzel style, folded up on itself. Got that side up, and then that side, and we're just gonna work it down in its groove, and there it goes. Tuckly put away. And you can see the high ridge for the flange on that seal is down, facing towards the pressure. We've got our dust sweep. I want to see if I can just hand put this one in there. Yeah, be able to just push this one in there by hand. All right, that's ready to go back on. We're going to do one more clean on it, make sure it's cleaned up, get our shaft cleaned up, and get this put back together. All right, we got the shaft cleaned up. Got it back here on the machine. I did replace this O-ring here that goes under the piston. So we're gonna get this thing slid back together. We've got our gland here all cleaned up, new seals installed. Did smear a little oil on the inside there on the seals, just to be easy and be sure we don't tear anything going back on. We do have a nice little bevel here that should help prevent that. So we're just going to ease the pressure up to it. Just kind of give it a little shake back and forth, twist as you push, and there she goes, right on the shaft. Next, our piston. I do recommend taking pictures, constant pictures when you're taking things apart. We did note that the narrow side of this piston faces up towards the pack nut. So that's the way it's going to get slid back on there. And then we're gonna go on with our first nut. First nut here, we're gonna get her tightened up. I apologize for the poor video quality. We'll have to get a tripod or something. I do plan on making a video later on. I'm having issues with grab the wrong one. Anyways, I will be getting a tripod. Trying to make it a little bit better quality here. On my next video, I've kind of started searching around and wanted to see anybody had messed with this and couldn't find any results. And also, as I went to pull this in to work on it, something has happened to my rock shaft for my 3-point control. It is now just dropping when I let it go and dropping the 3-point, and I've got a little leak coming out around the shaft there in the hydraulic. So I ordered a repair manual for it. We're gonna break the thing open, see if we can get her fixed, and make a video for everybody to see. So I do recommend that if the manufacturer has used any kind of thread sealant to get that cleaned off and reuse on assembly, you'll notice some kind of ashy color. Sometimes it's the pink kind of turns white a little bit sometimes, or a blue. But if you have any kind of thread locker you notice on disassembly, I definitely recommend get that cleaned off and reapply. We got this nut as tight as we can get it. Now we're going to set this jam nut, and as I stated before, be sure that you're only on the jam nut and you don't accidentally get your wrench over on the other one. All right, it's pretty strong there. So we're gonna get this shaft pulled off, go ahead and put our cylinder back on its side here, and then we'll drop this in and get her tightened up. All right, we've got our cylinder pin back on and the position it goes on the tractor. We've got the hydraulic connections to the inside, so we can get our hoses back on when we're done. All right, we've got a little oil on our shaft and pieces here. I'm gonna go ahead, pick up the cylinder straight up and down, and then we'll drop that in, piston in first. That piston is a little tight. Once you get it in there, it'll slide. You don't necessarily want to let your shaft slide all the way through and put pressure on that jam nut, pack nut. Just go ahead and start hand cranking that pack nut as tight down as you can with your hand. I'm gonna go ahead and get this down as far as I can with my hand. Go ahead and get it in position on the machine, then get my Knipex and get this thing cranked down tight. All right, I got that cranked down fairly well. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the shaft to line it up with the implement where it hooks into. And then we're just gonna take our Knipex, being sure that we're only on that pack nut, not on the cylinder. That thing's gonna go ahead and spin, but we'll just straighten it out after we're done tightening it. And as I said before, if you don't have the right spanner wrench that goes for these, they make adjustable ones and ones for multiple sizes. Obviously, you could use a large pair of pliers sometimes. You can even use a pin on an air hammer and just get inside the cutout there and ease it on around and get it unlocked. All right, that should be good enough there for government work. We're gonna go ahead and realign this. And sorry about that. I had to go off camera and get that put in. I had to use both hands there. So I've got the pins in, cylinders back in place. We're gonna go ahead and grab the lines and get them started. This one here is some kind of British fitting, I've been told. It's, you know, concave there on the fitting, and then the hose itself actually has the metal cone on it. But definitely a metric cylinder. I'll make sure to keep this cocked and pointed the direction we want it as it's tightening up. This is obviously not a new hose, so it laid right in place where it's supposed to go. All right, we got them done. And like I said, I don't use the pins because they either get tore out, and the clips that go in the pins either get tore out while I'm in the brush, and I end up losing a pin. So what I've been doing is just taking copper wire. Let's see. I'll try to set this camera up here. Okay, I had to set the phone down here. So, like I said, something that seems more secure to me in the brush, just taking this copper, wrapping it around like that. Just take it and twist it. As you can see, it's real tight right in that groove. And just come through. Got the little knots down so they don't get hung up on anything. So I'm gonna get 2 more done here on this pin, and then we'll fire it up. All right, we got them secured. Pins in there, not going anywhere. We're gonna fire this thing up. I did have to add a third function to this tractor. Once you get it started, there is a button here to turn it on. You just push this down, that turns it on, it rocks back, it's on. And then you have to add a control here on your loader controls, and then you got up and down, and that's gonna make the grapple open and close. Third function does have a brick back here in the back where the hoses run from here up to the front of the loader. This is a bleeder valve. You just unscrew it. I have it unscrewed now because I was hooking up the hoses to the grapple. It relieves the pressure. Once you have them hooked up before you start it, go ahead and close that bleeder valve and you're ready to go. So let's see what we got. Definitely didn't see any leaks from where I was at. There's what that wiper seal does. You know, it keeps that shaft completely clean. No fluid anywhere running out, or hoses are tight. No fluid there. Like I said, I rebuilt this one today right after I got the parts, and decided to go ahead and make a video, first video of fixing this other side. So this one's just a little bit wet where that one blew the towel off and kind of squirted all over it. So already got some sawdust down over there. Get this thing out of the way, get some sawdust down here, get it cleaned up, and we're on to the next one. I'll go ahead and get a tripod here. I plan on working on this tractor and trying to see what we can do with that rocker shaft. So anybody interested in that, just go ahead and subscribe. We'll see you on the second video.